14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
What was that deep breath for? You nervous? Welcome to episode 71. 71 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. Sorry, Matt, was I a little loud? Should I? Okay. Wait.
You're good. You're good.
I'm still trying to catch my breath since Keith took it away.
Oh, stop it. Oh, my goodness. All right, episode 71 of Hometown Threads here on WILI, 1400 AM, 95.3 FM. Willimantic Today Facebook, the Keith C. Rice Facebook page. Let's see, we got, Spectrum 192 for those of you who still have cable. A lot of people still have cable. What are we talking about here? Actually, yeah. There's a lot of people streaming these days, but there are people who still have Spectrum, so you can watch on Spectrum 192. And, of course, the radio station YouTube channel, which is WILI Radio. Please hit the subscribe button. Not only you'll be able to check out Hometown Threads, but we have a lot of other great talk shows on there, including about Matt's new show. J. Matt Rupar has a new show. Got to plug it here. It's called Homegrown, the Connecticut music scene, soon to be, hopefully, on the WILI Radio YouTube
yes,
channel.
Yes, sir.
Check him out Fridays 4 to 5 here on WILI. Hometown Threads, of course, comes your way every Tuesday at 5:05 to 5:30. Big thanks to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, with 3 great local locations right across the street from the radio station, 679 Main Street, Willimantic. West Main Street Gateway Commons, managed by Marian Gargoni, and right next door to Blondie's Diner. We'll get to that in just a sec. And Route 195 in Mansfield, Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. J. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind, say hello to the fine folks.
Hello?
And, of course, there's a way you could listen to it if you miss it or if you can't see it on social media. You could go to WILI.com and check out the Hometown Threads podcast. Big thanks to Triple E Pro Clean Services. Keith C. Rice, kicking off episode 71. It's a pleasure to bring in a Blondie from Blondies. I'm sure you get that all the time, right?
Sometimes.
Sorry. Damn, I was hoping to be the first one. Julie Cook Zarlengo. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, I thought I had a lot of names. Keith C. Rice.
Right.
So Julie C. Zarlengo. Well, no, Cook is your... Okay. It's Julie Cook Zarlengo, and it's a pleasure bringing in Blondie's Diner, one of the best breakfast places. And do you just do breakfast or breakfast and lunch?
Breakfast and lunch?
Breakfast and lunch. One of the best places to eat in Eastern Connecticut. Welcome in, Julie. And you've been behind the WILI microphones before because you've been on Ruth's Ravings and Cravings show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I missed that one. Did you bring any food that day? That was a while back, wasn't it?
You brought a coffee mug, and I have
Yes.
it. I have that
Ooh,
coffee mug.
Matt got a coffee mug?
Yes.
Oh.
Shoot.
Where's my coffee? She was giving me like, don't say it. No, it's great to bring in here. Swag or no swag, food or no food. But I can't say enough about Blondie's Diner. It's fantastic. So tell us, let's go back to the beginning. Where did you're from Bolton, right? You grew up in Bolton?
Since I was 8.
Since you were 8. So, okay, go ahead. Tell us the Julie Cook Zarlengo story here.
I was born in Florida.
Born in Florida?
Born in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
What made you come to Connecticut?
My dad was a Pratt & Whitney guy, so we moved up here when I was 8. And he thankfully had a 42-year career there, so that worked out well. And then we moved to Bolton, where I actually still currently live. My parents still live there as well. Story, let's see. When I was 13 years old, my parents invested in a restaurant for my uncle in the North Georgia mountains in Helen, Georgia. So my mom and I went down there that summer.
So this is in your blood, the whole restaurant business. Look at this.
Maybe, yeah. We went down to help my uncle. I was young. I was, waitressing, and I just thought it was cool. I liked the interaction with people, liked meeting new people, liked being around people, liked hearing different stories. I thought it was cool that I could cook whatever I wanted to, and I wanted French fries or something.
Ooh,
as a 13-year-old, that was,
exactly. Well, even as a 52-year-old,
yeah,
French fries.
I still do it. So, that really was the beginning of it. And then when I was about 17 in high school, I had a Italy trip I wanted to go on with the Latin Club, and my parents said you have to pay for half of it. So I got a job at a little diner in East Hartford, across the street from Pratt, where we frequented with my dad.
I have problems with that word too. Was that?
Yeah, I don't know if
what
I said that right.
We know what you mean.
So I worked at Maddie's for several years. through high school and start of college and all that, and then until I had my kids, and which was at a very young age, and then took some time off. Do you want me to go to like the whole story?
Well, no, I mean, I find it fascinating that, go back to the Georgia part, where, so you really got into the whole restaurant business that young, huh? The interaction with people, and you learned how to cook at an early age, right?
At that point, I was just waitressing.
Just what? Okay.
Yeah,
I was
just
gonna say, if you're
waitressing.
cooking at 13, that's pretty good.
No. Just I mean, hanging out in the kitchen, and we could do what we wanted to because we were family. But just waitressing and having really more the involvement with people, which was really my my forte.
So throughout high school, what were you doing? Like, what were some of your activities? What were some of your interests? Because let's face it, teenage years, say what you want, they're the toughest years. They really are. They can be. But as you're nearing the end of high school, what are you thinking? College or what, restaurant business? What's going through your mind towards the end of Bolton High School? Right? That's where you went?
Yep, I graduated from Bolton High School. I was pretty much groomed to go to college after high school. I didn't give that a second thought, so I attended Bryant College, which is now Bryant University in Rhode Island.
I have family that attended Bryant. Very good school.
Yep, I was a marketing major. I got pregnant when I was a sophomore. So I ended up getting married and had my oldest son when I was a sophomore in college. But as fate would have it, I worked hard, and I actually still graduated in 3.5 years.
Good
I
for you.
I had a little bit of a rough stretch in college. I had a bad accident. I had a baby, but it happened. You know,
Wow.
and I graduated in December of 1996, and then I went back in 1997 to walk.
Good for you. Wow.
So I was always very motivated to make things happen in my life.
And I'm sorry, what did you major in at Bryant again?
Marketing.
So what were you thinking? Now that college is over, the accident, the scary accidents behind you. What's next for Julie?
Well, I was pregnant with my second son when I walked in 1997. So at that point, anything that I really had on my radar as far as work just really transitioned into just being a mom.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for, a good 10, 15 years after that. I was a stay-at-home mom. I waitressed a little bit on the side, and then gave that up altogether just to be home with my kids full
See,
time.
even while you're doing that part-time, you still couldn't stay away from the restaurant. But so that had to be something calling you there, right, to come back eventually.
It definitely works for moms. When my boys were older, I have 2 boys and 2 girls. I did eventually go back to work. I must have been late 30s at that point. Like I said, I spent a good 10 to 15 years at home. But yeah, it was what I knew. Like I said, I had never really had a job in the professional world. And that whole 9 to 5 punching a clock didn't appeal to me anymore. It did when I was in college mode, thinking about what my career would be. But
that was my next question. So before you got pregnant and all that, you're going to school for marketing. What are you thinking at that point? What would I like to do? Before.
I was on the debate team in high school. My parents thought I would have made a good attorney because I like to argue.
I could see that.
I'm kidding about the arguing.
Come on, we all like to argue. Don't worry about that.
No, finance, business. I had, high hopes of maybe working on Wall Street one day. Working with money always interested me. But none of it really mattered once my kids were born. I really didn't give it a second thought.
You seem like a great mom. We're gonna let's get into the family right now. Tell us about, your children, how old they are, their names, and all that.
So my oldest son is Colin. He is 29. He just got married last year, and him and his wife Jenna were living in Denver. They actually just recently moved to Atlanta, where she's from. So they live there now. So it was nice to have them home to visit. Brandon is 26 and a half. He lives in Chaplin and works at the diner on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
And can I just do a little shout out for him?
Please do.
Willimantic, I believe, will soon have another specialized coffee shop coming.
Like breaking news on Hometown Threads?
This is going to be some breaking news, Brandon. I hope this is okay. So we're signing a lease, and he will be opening up his own coffee shop. So
yeah,
he's been working really hard. He learned how to roast coffee, and that's been his game plan for the last few years. So he did a little roasting in Chaplin at that diner, and wants to expand on his own and kind of get out from underneath his mom's wing and do his own thing, which I think would be
that's got to make you
good
feel
for
so
him.
proud, though.
Yes. Yes.
Now, what's Colin doing in Atlanta? I'm sorry to go back to Colin first. So what's he doing?
It's a good question. He works.
No.
Some kind of healthcare
Oh,
management.
okay, all right. So Colin, Brandon, and was there another one?
Yeah, so
Oh.
Brooke is actually about to turn 21. So she just returned home. She is in Denver for the summer working for Cigna. She just came home for a few days this week. She'll be going back out to finish her internship. Coming back home to finish her last semester, she goes to Bentley.
Very good school.
Which
Another
was
good school.
It was interesting because my two choices were Bryant and Bentley, and I
Wow.
chose Bryant, and her top two choices were Bentley and Bryant, and she chose Bentley. So yeah, she does. She'll be finishing up. Actually, she'll also be graduating a little early, and she'll be done in December, and then finishing her master's. Hoping to get a job offer from Cigna. We'll see what happens.
Wow. Sounds like you've raised some good kids.
So, and then we have Holly, who just turned 20.
And Holly now, okay.
She's the baby. If you know any of my kids and you see any of them, she does not look like the baby. She is actually taller than her sister. Very tall. She works at the diner 5 days a week. She is finishing up her degree at Central. She will also be graduating early.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That is fantastic. Now, what are the plans for Brooke and Holly?
So, it's funny because I feel like two of my kids have that kind of 9-to-5 MO, and the other two, like Holly and Brandon, are kind of more business oriented.
I was just asking because I don't know if we want Cigna to work out, but would they see what the success you've had in the restaurant industry? Would they ever want to maybe lean? You set such a high bar too. You really have.
Like I said, I think Brandon and Holly have desires to own their own business, not necessarily my restaurant. Like I said, Brandon definitely would like his own. Holly, I'm not sure that she's interested in the restaurant business at all.
No, she's worked for you, so sure she's learned a lot.
Yeah, she's probably learned enough that she knows she doesn't want to do it.
Well, this is fantastic, learning about your family and the success, and we just hope for continued success. And congratulations to Brandon again.
Thanks.
I love coffee, that's for sure. I'm drinking it 24/7. Now, let's get into the whole Blondie's Diner thing and how our guest, by the way, here in episode 71 is Julie Cook-Zarlengo from Blondie's Diner, the owner. By the way, I'm just so fascinated with when I get business owners in here. Every day you must wake up and just go, my goodness, I know you're used to it now, but you own your own restaurant. That's gotta. I know it's a lot of work, and I saw you the other day at catering the Wayne event, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, but you got to be proud of yourself. You got to take a second to, whoa,
I do have those moments, and I cherish them. There are days, especially on a Sunday, when I look out at the diner. I actually could get a little teary-eyed and go into my office because, like, what was created there from scratch with the help of all of my employees, we're not a one-man show, obviously, is really incredible to me. And it really is heartwarming that my parents had the faith in me to loan me the money to get me started. And the customer base and just everyone that has played a role in that success really is heartwarming.
And I'm glad you said that, because another reason why I really wanted to get you in on the show is those videos you put up on Facebook. You just come across as that genuine, a real person, and you could feel the emotion of your posts there when you do those videos.
Thank you.
And you really you got me. I'm like, wow, you can tell. You just if you ever you gotta look out for her on Facebook. She's unbelievable. You could just see the dedication, the loyalty, the love you have for your staff and your restaurant. You could see that in those posts, and I hope you do more of them, because it really is just you do a great job of that. So talk a little about the process it was acquiring Blondie's Diner and how it all went down. You mentioned what you guys did to get it ready, and you mentioned it wasn't a one-man show. Talk a little about that, if you would.
So we actually have been open for 9 years.
Has it been 9?
Yes, I signed my lease 9 years ago. August will be actual opening 9 years, which is just mind-blowing to me. It was rough, I'm not gonna lie. It was a rough start. It was difficult. It was costly. It cost way more than we anticipated it would cost. And then, of course, as everyone knows, there's always problems. Things break down. Number one reason businesses fail, because they don't have the funds to keep it going. Thank you, Mom and Dad, which my parents are wonderful. But it was the building was a mess when we went in there. We were responsible for cleaning it up,
It
cleaning
used to
it
be
out.
Fred's Brick House, right? That was the place before. That was vacant for a while, I guess.
A couple years,
Yeah.
yep. So we went in there, had to clean that out and do our thing, and we opened, and slowly but surely, just acquired staff. Some have stuck around for much longer than others. So let's give a shout out to Jessie Dugan.
Oh yes, Jessie. I was just gonna guess. Is she one of the OGs?
She is. I think she came to work for me a month or two after I opened. I mean,
Wow.
she is OG. Yes.
Okay, so that's one of them. You said there's a couple others.
I mean, my girls.
Oh, your girls.
They were part of the original crew. Like I said, they've kind of come in and out depending on what they have going on with school or other things in their life. And Brandon, Colin never really was worked there in that nature. Let's see. Jessie's really the OG.
Okay. So she was there right when you guys opened the doors, huh?
Like I said, maybe like a month or two after. But yeah, I mean, and she's really, I know her job is not easy. She sticks with me through it all. She's a tough cookie.
So waitressing and or serving in general, it's got to be, you can see a lot of people come and go. What do you, are you always looking for more people? I know you got, every time you walk in there, by the way, credit to the Blondie's Diner staff. You guys are so energetic. You're running from table. The place is huge. It's usually filled. At least the times I'm there, it's always filled. And you got such a big... How many people on your staff right now?
20-ish, depending on... some of the girls work at both places. So let's not forget we have Blondie's Country Diner in Chaplin.
That's right. That's right. We got to... That's you said we're... you said Brandon worked at that one, right?
Brandon works at that one, and Erica Miloshnik works at that one as well. So she's really the OG in that one because Erica worked for the previous owners. Actually, her and Casey as well.
Route 6 North Wyndham. That's the what do you call Blondie's?
Country Diner.
Country Diner. Mm-hmm. Okay. So go ahead. When did that open, by the way?
December 2020. That was purchased.
December 2020.
Mm-hmm. Right in
that
the middle
must
of
have
COVID.
been exciting getting a second one. Or very strong. Well, COVID was going on there too. Yeah.
It was it was off the cuff. It was an auction. I went with my check and was floored when they said, and the winner is, and sold too.
Wow.
It was, I wasn't really expecting to win. I feel like I won it.
It's like a lottery.
It was crazy. But you know what I mean? I was really looking for my future. I own that building, so that was really the next step for me, was to get involved in the real estate of the restaurants.
So, yeah, I was going to say, you wake up every day going, I own a restaurant. Wait a minute, I own restaurants.
Yeah.
So it's got to be, sometimes it's, goodness, overwhelming at times, I'm sure, too. So when it came time to open that one, I know we're jumping around here a little, but that's what happens when you have like a 25-minute show. You had to hire that staff as well, right? Or no, you had Erica over there. She runs that place, Erica?
Like I said, I got fortunate because Erica was there before. She stayed.
Okay, gotcha. So she
pretty
took
much-
care of that place.
She did. She took
Do you
care
ever
of it.
pop over there every now and then? Well, you're probably busy.
I do.
You're just not in the restaurant. You should give us a 9 to 5 overview of what Julie does on a regular basis.
Well, that's actually a funny question because most people would be like, well, she never shows up to work. We never see her. There's a million things that are done behind the scenes. I have my certain days that I have to work. I was there this morning because we had some issues. But even if I'm not there, there's just so many other tasks to be taken care of.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have people that call out, and then you got to
course.
probably step in and take. I'm sure. Yeah, are there any times are you on the floor at times?
So I really have given up the waitressing.
Yeah.
I had a foot surgery 5-ish years ago, so my waitressing days are probably over.
Is that from the waitressing, the foot injury?
Just a flat foot.
Oh.
But I ended up kind of working in my own kitchen during COVID. So, I really had been pigeonholed a few times where I had cooks who would come in and out and they would leave me hanging, and that really put a burden on my business and my mental health. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I just need to learn how to do this. I feel as a business owner, we need to be able to do everything that everybody else can do. Opening as an owner and just being able to waitress didn't work for very long. So I learned how to cook. I can do everything that they can do.
I was just about to ask you, can you cook? What's your,
Yes.
Okay, I know you're making the rounds and everything you do, but what's, off the top of your head, what's the best thing or most favorite thing that you like to cook personally?
Preferably nothing.
Gee, how did I know you were going to say that?
Prefer to not cook at home or at work.
What do you enjoy to cook? Like, that was, or you've been complimented, that's damn good, what you just made.
I mean, I've come a long way making omelets. If you had seen my omelets,
Omelets are great at
when I
Blondie's,
first started.
Willy Philly, right? Is that what it's called?
That's a good one.
That's my favorite.
That's a
there.
good one. There's nothing particular that I make the sausage gravy. I showed my cooks how to make that. That came from my mom, really.
But you step in an emergency situation.
Of course, yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, you're going back to some of your obstacles, was there ever a time during you said it's been 9 years, where in the early stages, you woke up one day and going, I don't know if I could actually do this?
There are those days.
Can you talk a little about, not in detail, but you came across a time going, oh my goodness, this is just...
There's just times where it gets really hard. Excuse me. It just wanes on you, and for some reason things can be amazing for weeks, months, or even a year, and it just, that statement on when it rains it pours just feels really true. And I don't know if it's a restaurant thing. I'm sure it's all businesses, not restaurants. One person will quit. Okay, not a big deal. Well, it'll be 3 people who quit. Which I don't have a huge turnover in staff, but because it's such a small staff, it really impacts our business when someone leaves, whether it be a dishwasher or, a cook or a waitress. It's not like, Friendly's where they've got 30 waitresses. So, my girls have full-time hours. So it does impact things if someone leaves.
That's another thing you do. You're like a coach. You got to keep everyone happy, or at least you're running that team, basically.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like being an employer, being a friend, being a therapist, being trying to be everything to everybody. It's because it's more than, they're not just my employees. They are part of my family.
Yeah,
I need their health and their mental health to be on point.
Yeah, and someone might not be, same thing in any field. You may not be feeling it when you wake up one day going, it's hard. You got to leave your personal stuff at the door, and you got to, same thing with like radio, and you just got to put that stuff behind you and
plug
through and forget about it, And, and you got to face, you and your staff there, you got to face people. I can hide behind a microphone, and you guys got to face the public every day, and the whole customer service thing. You could be having a terrible day. You can't take it out on somebody. You got to turn on the
We've
charm.
had those issues. Someone might end up in the back crying. It happens.
Yeah.
Because people have lives.
All right. So in the final few minutes here, first of all, Matt, we might run a little over here because I want to hear. I want Julie to explain a little. What's the big things of Blondie's? Name some of the stuff on the menu. It's a packed menu, and you really get your money's worth there. It is. The food is just unbelievable.
I mean, gosh, we have biscuits and gravy and pancakes. I love our French toast on the cinnamon bread. All kinds of omelets, side dishes. Geez, I'm trying to think. Willy Philly omelets.
Willy Philly
We put a little twist on some of them, like our
Eggs Benedict. You guys
Eggs
have that?
Benedict,
Yeah.
all kinds of Benedicts. Our Western omelet, we actually call a Hollywood omelet. It was named after my daughter.
Wow.
Because we put colored peppers in it, not just the typical green peppers. We have a Brookalicious, which was named after my daughter Brooke. She liked her pancake with M&Ms and chocolate chips. So, threw a couple little specialty items in like that. Waffles. All kinds of good stuff.
A couple quick questions. Yes, sorry, I know the neighborhood's coming up in just a few here in WILI, but we talked about this off the air. How about a relationship with some of the other, not just breakfast places, but everyone? It's such a tight-knit community when it comes to our eateries, I guess you should say, no matter what restaurant. Do you seem it's a tight relationship with all the other owners and people around town that own restaurants and stuff like that?
I wish the relationships were tighter. I don't have any kind of bad relationship with anybody. I definitely know people that own other restaurants in town. But I wish, especially as breakfast places, we were a little tighter, that we could be like, hey, I just had this guy walk in. How did it go? And he worked for you, so we could have that communication and open lines. But like I said, I'm here if anyone needs anything. I've offered for other people to use my cooler if they need it. Nothing stinks more than losing food that you had to pay for. By not having refrigeration, anything like that. I've had another restaurant, that breakfast place, helped me out. One day I needed to-go boxes, and Mara hooked me up, Louie. So
that's great. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah, I definitely try to pay it forward.
And that's what you got to do, no matter where or what you're doing. And a final question I throw out to all my guests is, I want you to show love to people that have helped you along this journey. And we know. Go ahead and mention them again. Your mom and dad, really, and I'm very, my parents did a lot for me too as far as raising me. I know you were just pretty much saying the same thing. So it sounded like you were raised really well. So go ahead and shout out and show love to the people that helped you along the journey.
Gosh, mom and dad for sure. They were the backbone from the very beginning. My sisters always had some emotional support for me. My children for just everyone believing in me and and giving me that love that, how proud they are that my mom did all this. And again, staff, couldn't do it without them, all of them.
Name some of the staff, because you got such a big
Gosh,
staff. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I mean, I've got Chaplain, we've got Brandon, we've got Erica, we've got Casey, I've got some new hires, Willimantic, Jesse, Isaiah, Jeff. Jeff's been solid with me for years. I've got Pablo and Christian now, and
Jen, she watched our dog.
Yes, Jen.
Jen, right?
I got Jenny Joe.
Jenny Joe.
Jenny Joe.
See, it's tough to remember all those names. I don't blame you.
There's a lot. Nina. I don't want to miss anyone. Oh, geez.
Sorry, it's my fault. See, the entire staff.
Kristen. I got Kristen.
She's naming them all. Good job. Well, it's a pleasure to call you friend. Finally, we've been Facebook friends, but we finally, I'd say about a month ago, we met face to face. Brought Marianne in there, and we had we finally got to meet face to face.
Knew you from Facebook, knew Marianne from my bank, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
So it's great, and it's a pleasure to call you friend, Julie. Julie Cook Zarlengo from Blondie's Diner. Go check it out. You've been there. Go back there, and you won't leave hungry. That's for sure. So thank you, Julie, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, Tripoli Pro Clean Services. That'll do it for episode 71 of Hometown Threads. And in the words of the great Roddy McCumber,
bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice, or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.